Sairam. I'm sure all of you must be aware of certain periods of time, hours, or even days in a year which are considered as unlucky or unfortunate or tragic. In fact, it is believed that doing anything or starting anything during those hours or those days in the year will result in failure in the best case scenario and horrible tragedy in the worst case scenario. One such day is Friday the 13th. In fact, a simple Google search will reveal so many tragic and horrible things about this so-called Friday the 13th. Horror movies, tragedy movies are made with that title, and you will see reports and news about deaths, about accidents, about catastrophes, sinking of ships, falling of aircrafts, all of those linked to Friday the 13th. In fact, frigatriskaidekaphobia, that is the term to recognize one's fear of Friday the 13th. Can you believe it? There is an official term to indicate people's fear of Friday the 13th. This fear of Friday the 13th possibly has its origins in the biblical times, because it is believed that it is on Friday the 13th that Eve tempted Adam. It's on Friday the 13th that Jesus Christ was crucified. Yes, that Good Friday that we call was a not so good Friday because it was the 13th of the month. It is believed that it is on Friday the 13th that the great floods came. If we look at the Last Supper, there are 13 people sitting there, after which each one of them met in tragedy of different kinds. The one that pains our heart most, of course, is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. But then, this kind of belief of an inauspicious time or a bad day is not restricted to Christianity alone. People across religions, across cultures, across time zones, across the world have different reasons, different numbers, different days that are considered inauspicious and they are scared of. For example, closer to home in Bharat, in India, I know of the Rahu Kalam, the inauspicious time that comes every day when people don't do some things. That apart, there are also inauspicious days like the Ashtami, the 8th day in the Indian calendar. It's considered inauspicious. So there are a lot of times and hours that are considered inauspicious and unlucky. Speaking of Friday the 13th, the number 13 itself is considered so unlucky. Many hotels do not have the 13th floor. Many hotels do not have the room number 13 because none of the guests would like to stay there. Friday the 13th is even more potent and deadly. But do you know that 13 is considered a very lucky number in Egypt? At the same time, the number 9, which we consider very holy in India, especially as Sai devotees, it is considered unlucky in Japan. China considers 4 as unlucky, while Italy considers 17 as unlucky. So there are different reasons for different numbers being considered unlucky, and when we think of these as superstitions, we realize that there are actually tragic things that have happened on these days. But then there is one special blessing that helps us overcome all this unfortunate tragedy that can happen because of association to certain hours and times and inauspicious days. And for that, we have to travel back in time to a Friday the 13th of July 2007, and something magical happened. For the regular viewers of this channel, there are no points for guessing who is it who made that Friday the 13th of July 2007, a very auspicious and memorable one from what it was supposed to be an unlucky one. But then the sequence of events is so wonderful and magical that it is worth reliving it over and over again. Personally, 2007 was a very special year for me because that is the year I graduated from MBA and I joined my first ever job. It was granted to me by Swami himself and I joined in Radio Sai Global Harmony on the 1st of June. The first ever project that I got involved in was called Prema Jyoti. Prema Jyoti translates into the light of love. Swami says, right, that I have come to light the lamp of love in each and every heart. Yes, that light, that flame of love is Prema Jyoti. Prema Jyoti was a magnificent exhibition of sorts, a display of the life and teachings of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba in 7 separate sections with more than 800 panels. This was conceived by the one and only Professor G. Venkat Raman, or GV Sir as we call him. GV Sir at that time was the director of Radio Sai Global Harmony and he planned for a massive display of Swami's life and teachings. He had begun planning for it right from January and February of 2007 itself, and though Swami took GV Sir along with him to Kodaikanal that year in April and May, GV Sir spent the whole vacation in Kodaikanal working on the particulars and details of this display exhibition that he proposed to put forth to Swami during Guru Purnima. And so when he returned and when I joined Radio Sai in June, this was the hot project that all of us began to work very, very hard for. Under different sections, Divine Glory, the water projects, the medical mission, like that 7 different sections were made and there were magnificent photographs with text detailing how each of these missions had been taken forward with the divine vision. There was one small problem, however. We had planned to put up this exhibition at the Purna Chandra Auditorium, which is one of Asia's largest pillarless auditoriums in the world. It was a hall of that size alone that could hold all these 800 different panels that spoke of Swami's life and teachings. And even as we were working for this, to have this exhibition during Guru Purnima, the international organization, the worldwide organization, they planned under the leadership of Dr. Narendranath Reddy, they planned a World Youth Conference to coincide with the Guru Purnima celebrations in July 2007. Swami was so happy with the meticulous planning and details that had come up for the World Youth Conference. So he blessed the international organization to proceed with this, and guess what was selected as the venue for the World Youth Conference? Yes, the Purna Chandra Auditorium. And this came as a death blow for us because we wondered where could we put up the exhibition if the Purna Chandra Auditorium was taken up by the international organization for the World Youth Conference. It was in these circumstances that the roosters in Puttaparthi crowed on the morning of the 13th of July, a Friday the 13th. I remember even as I woke up on that day, I felt, oh my God, this is supposed to be the most unlucky day in history, and what are we planning to do on this day? What were we planning? Well, as I said, there were 7 separate sections in the exhibition, and the smallest section was on the water project. It had only about 30 panels. And on this particular day, Friday the 13th July 2007, this section on the water project, the panels were supposed to arrive to Prashanthi Nilayam. And we had planned to put them up on display and invite Swami to view part of the exhibition, hoping that we could get an alternative good venue where we could put up this exhibition. That day, even as all of us gathered in the studio, GV Sir called all of us to him and he said, something wonderful happened and Swami has given his blessings. Now, Every day in the evening, GV sir would dine with Swami at Yajur Mandir. And therefore, I thought that previous night when he was having dinner with Swami, Swami must have told him something good. And the previous night was Thursday the 12th. 12 is a whole number, a complete number. And Thursday is a day that is very, very special, Guruvaram, for us Sai devotees. But then, GV sir said something amazing. He said, today morning I prayed to Swami and said, Swami, Prema Jyoti must see light of day in the Purnachandra auditorium. And then the flower from his photograph fell. Swami has blessed us. I was very deeply touched. It is very, very difficult to remember Swami's divinity in his physical presence. Because when we are very physically close to Swami, there is a lot of Maya surrounding. Because he talks to us, walks like us, dines with us and moves about just like us, it is very, very easy to think that he is just one among us. Trust me, dear brothers and sisters, it's a great sadhana to constantly remember Swami is divine when you are physically near him. And Professor GV sir is an example of a great person who did that, who was successful in keeping away Maya, not getting deluded because of the physical proximity that he was receiving. And that is why he continued to pray to the omnipotent Lord. And so that evening, we set up the section in the Purnachandra auditorium, waiting to see whether Swami would arrive or not. To our greatest delight, Swami indeed agreed to come and see all the panels in the Purnachandra auditorium. And he came bringing Chakravarti sir also along with him. Because Chakravarti sir was coordinating all these events, coordinating with Dr. Narendranath Reddy about the World Youth Conference, and he also knew about GV sir's plans for the Prema Jyoti exhibition. But he told GV sir that, look, Swami has already blessed that, so we will not be able to do both at the same venue. Swami went around. Brother Sai Prakash explained to Swami the different panels. He was working very intimately with the project and he got this great blessing. And as Swami went around, Swami seemed so moved. Swami spent more than half an hour looking at all the panels. GV sir also explained to Swami, and all of us also got opportunity to take photographs, to take videos, to also explain to Swami here and there what the exhibition would be about. At the end, Swami was beaming with joy. He was having so much pride. He said, my boys have done all of this independently. I never thought they could do it. But now I know my boys can do anything. And just listening to that made us feel so happy. Swami, we have given you the joy. We have given you that pride. We are so blessed. And then came the blessing. Swami said, this exhibition should be inaugurated on the 20th of July, a few days before Guru Purnima that was. And Swami promised us that he would come and inaugurate it. That was when GV sir asked the $1 million question. He said, Swami, where should we have this exhibition? Swami said, let us have it here in Purnachandra. Immediately, the other elders told Swami, since the World Youth Conference will be held here, let us have the exhibition starting on the 20th of July, and before the World Youth Conference starts, we can wrap up the exhibition. But that would be only like 4-5 days, Swami immediately said, no, the world youth are coming, they should see this exhibition. So we should not wrap it up, let it be here. We can conduct the World Youth Conference proceedings elsewhere. Wow! Immediately Chakravarti sir, always the one to agree to whatever Swami says. He said, yes Swami, we will do that. Let's have the Prema Jyoti exhibition here. In fact, dear brothers and sisters, that is what precisely happened. A separate venue was set up for the World Youth Conference and a temporary construction was made, a magnificent large construction where all the proceedings could be held. In the meanwhile, as promised, on the 20th of July 2007, Swami came and inaugurated the Prema Jyoti exhibition. I get tears when I think of that day, because it showed me that when God is there, no day, no time, no hour, nothing is inauspicious. When the epitome of auspiciousness itself is here, how can anything be inauspicious? So that is how on Friday the 13th, the unluckiest, the most inauspicious, and the most unfortunate day in the history of mankind, we received the greatest blessing of Swami. And as I said, on the 20th of July, Swami came and inaugurated the exhibition. He moved around each of those 7 sections. There were different students from among us who got the opportunity to explain to Swami what each of those sections were. And Swami went through the Divine Glory section, the water section, the education section, the medical section, one section on the worldwide impact that Swami's vision and mission was having. And though Swami knows everything, he patiently lent a ear to each one of us, spent nearly 1 hour in the exhibition. Looking back at that day, I remember Swami says, when you have God's anugraha, what can the Navagraha do to you? Navagraha are the 9 planets, and it is firmly believed that they influence your destiny, your fate, your good and bad. But Swami says, when you have anugraha, which is grace, what can the Navagraha, the 9 planets, do to you? Once we are under the umbrella of grace of our beloved Swami, no time is inauspicious, no day is unlucky, no year can be bad, nothing is bad, because everything reaches us only after touching Him. And once any time, any day, any occasion touches Him, it becomes divine, it becomes auspicious. Dear brothers and sisters, when we decide to take up any divine task, any divine work, anything that we dedicate to Swami, let us not fear for these inauspicious times, inauspicious days, inauspicious years. No, 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 no. Swami is Shivam. Shivam means auspiciousness. It's always goodness, beauty and auspiciousness with us when we carry Swami with us. Dear Swami, let us always remember this. Let us always remember to have you in every aspect of our life. And then let us remember that once we have you in every aspect of our life, there is nothing like inauspicious. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.